Yeah. Earlier, I have explained to you guys of regarding to DNS, spoofing. Right? DNS spoofing means someone pretending to be your DNS. Correct, right? Like if you go and see some network properties, okay, and in that usually it will be automatic, but you can set whatever you want. Usually your organizations will set a specific a DNS server within your organization for all your DNS queries. Sometimes it will be static. Okay, some IP address they will be keeping. If an attacker, okay, is able to change the IP address of that particular DNS to some different IP address, as I said here, okay, I'm just recapping this content. We have already discussed this. Okay, whatever the DNS server 12.168.1.254, he'll be replacing with his own DNS server. Okay, he might be using uh, give me a second. Yeah, give me a second. Okay, for example, your machine is your DNS, your internal DNS server is here within the office. Okay, and your computer is here, it's your PC, which are the workstation is here, but the attacker DNS is other side of the world, internet, somewhere here. Okay, usually for all the DNS requests, like maybe like whatever it is there in between internal routers and internal firewalls all together, they will cross and go to this DNS for all the query request and gets the response back. Okay, but from now on, after changing it, after crossing all the perimeter network, firewall, router, and everything, it will go to get the response or the query. For the query request, the query responses, DNS query responses will be getting from this. Okay, so now why this happened is, in this particular system, the network settings, DNS has changed. Okay, the authorized DNS has been changed from your internal to some external. Okay, yes, many of the companies, they really allow the users to change their settings if they have admin privileges. Okay, admin privileges means sometimes when these kind of mistakes happens, I'll tell you. So I am a software developer. Okay, and I need some, whenever I need some installation, some, I cannot go and ask, the admin team to come and, the IT support team to come and install it for me and go. I might be asking 10 times in a day. So that will be a problem, I guess. Correct, right? Every time they cannot call, I mean, like for your call, they'll be available. There will be a lot of people whom they need to serve. So you are just one person. They will be like, providing you strict guidelines. Okay, please raise a request. What is your purpose? Okay, all these things. A ticket in your, service request. Some website will be there for you. IT service request. Some website will be there. So and so website. And give the business justification saying that, like, you need regularly to install and uninstall the, regularly install and install the softwares. Okay, so for that, what you'll do, you will be like like asking, okay, that privileges. Okay, request, and then the request goes to the IT managers, means like the main people who are in the IT. Okay, the manager also will give, yes, my team member requires this particular privileges because like he'll be like working on some kind of research project where multiple software uninstalling and tryout softwares has to be done. Okay, some trial softwares he has to use, so it is very important. Okay, then what happens next? The the IT manager will see it, and if the business justification is correct, and whatever the approval that your manager has given, and the his justification is correct, then definitely he will approve it. Once he approves it, then you have all the privileges. That means so many employees will be in the company with this kind of privileges, where for many of the people they won't be in a position to open and see, okay, these properties. See this, whatever the star it is coming, right? I mean, like, so the shield is coming, right? The shield itself, they won't be able to see. Once if you click like this, admin privileges are required to do this, like that pop-up will come. But for this, for person who is having the admin privileges, he will just enter his own username and password, and he will just click on that. So then after that, he can do that. Now, for if a specific account, this account itself, it is compromises. Okay, and it's nothing, like anything big deal for the attacker. Okay, from internally, from the scripts, whatever he has written while logging into the like into the system itself with the admin privileges logged in, right? It's easy for him to just change the static DNS. Dynamic means automatically we are getting, okay, from the network, that where you go for the, for all DNS requests. This whatever we are entering, if you are entering manually, the IP address is called a static IP address. Remember this. Manually, if you are entering the IP address, is nothing but a static IP address. Remember this word, technical word. Just if anytime if you are listening, hey, the IP static means someone has actually on that particular system. It is not automatically getting the IP address using the DHCP server. Okay. Instead, it is manually entered by the end user. Just remember, end user or network people, they might have configured it, like with all the subnet mask and gateway. Okay. So this is the DNS, where the static DNS server name they have given. Okay, and this will be like attacker's DNS server. Okay, what happens if attackers gives any DNS server? Okay, what he'll do? He will be like, Citibank. Citibank, he will. Okay, once he clicks on Citibank, okay, he might have cleared all the DNS cache and all, attacker. Once he clicks, okay, the DNS request. Now, since there is no DNS, like already in the cache of this particular domain's IP or anything, it has to go and ask for the DNS server. So it will go and check now what is the DNS server. Okay. Now, whatever it is there in the configured one, in the, whichever it is the static, okay, which is there other part of the world somewhere here. Okay, that one you configured it now. So it will go there. So it will go there and get, attacker will be like, given the IP address of some attacking machine here. Some other machine is there. He will give the response of this particular IP. Okay, this he will tell that this is not the actual DNS server. Sorry, Citibank server, some dummy server it is. So this guy will come to know that, okay, oh, I have received the Citibank server, but this guy has given this system's IP address. So it will go from here, okay, and reaches here, and the Citibank get request will come here, and after getting here, this guy will tell, okay, this guy is in my trap now. Okay, so he will serve a dummy web page, like which looks similar. No, anyone can actually create it. This, city. Oh, sorry. Anyone can actually create it. Citibank.com. See, It's not a big deal. Just some tweaks you have to do on the website. Okay, example, let me take, view source code. Okay, control A, control C. Okay, Mm, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, uh, now documents, right? So something I have kept it. Okay, I'll just close this. Now consider my machine itself attacker's machine, and someone has come. I have installed one folder, okay, which is some website. Okay, okay, yeah. So, oh, something I made a mistake. Give me a second. Save as citibank.html. Okay, save it. Like this only in some Windows application server, they will be keeping. Okay, no problem. Where it is? Yeah, this one. Perfect. Okay, so they will be keeping this, in a specific folder, some application they have created. Okay, usually it will be in a folder, and along with, the images are that are there in the citibank.com, all those things will be there in another folder. Only the website related content will be in one folder. Like that it will be there. For simplicity, I'm just giving in some folder some Citibank website is there. So then a request from the attacker, like from the user, it has reached it. Now through port 80 or 443, it might have reached. Okay, depending upon whatever the DNS server has told. Okay, usually not port 443, because HTTP S means like your browser itself. As soon as when you said citibank.com, HTTPS citibank.com is this website, it doesn't accept that, because no, citibank.com usually it should not be here, because authentication, as I know, he is having some public IP, sorry, the public certificate. I know what it is, where he stays, but you are telling something different, so it won't accept your browser. Okay. So that's why HTTP only usually it will be used by those attackers, or some small modification, CIT like that, some name or something like that, they will modify if they want HTTP. Usually they will keep as is, and they will send HTTP colon, not instead of HTTP. And port 80, you will be getting that request. Not you means attacker. Okay. Now what he'll do, he has to serve that. Then, okay. Then what he'll do, he'll just send that, the same page back to the end user. Correct, right? The same page it will be going. Now, the after end user receives this page, okay, what he'll do, he'll just open it up. Okay, he'll just open it up. Give me a second, guys. Let us see whether it opens or not. It's taking a lot of time, I don't know. Usually you try with any other web pages, just you know like, which is very small or anything. Okay, so if you see here, a lot of things are grayed out. I don't know whether you're able to see it or not. Maybe, because of lot of supporting files. Apart from that, image files or anything, I have not kept in that particular. I have, what I should have kept is, I should have kept the resource files. I should have kept some, the mouse and everything whenever you move or anything, right? For supporting that also, some files will be there for these kind of security websites. And there will be some kind of, the fonts, all these things, some files will be there. All those things together in a one bundle, one folder, they will keep it. Okay, when the request comes, all that information will be sent to that particular customer. So the customer that time, like it will be zipped and sent. That's why we have encoding and all. Correct, right? And when they are sending it, they will encrypt and send it. Correct, right? Okay, that's why we have encoding, encryption, everything is there. So if you see lightly, you are able to see. If you'd have actually seen it perfectly, like you will be able to harvest the username and passwords of that particular customer just doing like this. Like all the employees who are all having admin privileges, if your company is providing Citibank as the salary account, then now you are in a position to harvest all those. Yeah. So this is how they do the spoofing. Correct, right? Okay, this is called as DNS spoofing. There is something like there is something called as DNS. This is DNS spoofing. There is something called as, okay, let it be. Okay, there is something called as DNS tunneling. Okay, it is nothing to do with this DNS query or anything. Okay, it is nothing to do with the DNS query or anything. Okay, your system, okay, your system, it has to send all the data in and out through firewall, that we know. Correct, right? And this firewall has got what? How the firewall is going to, you know, uh, allow or block because of the because of the
IP address.
no. What is the main functionality of the firewall?
Port numbers.
Yeah, port numbers, correct. What we should technically say?
Block the
It would block traffic.
Yes, yeah, that is true. How it is working, that inbound and outbound rules, correct, right? Firewall means first you have to talk about this inbound rules, outbound. Guys, if you go and see, every time when I am teaching something about the firewall, I am bringing this point because you have to remember, okay, rules will be there. What and all ports, TCP ports to be allowed inside? What and all UDP ports to be allowed inside? That is the inbound. Okay, what are all the TCP ports to be allowed outside? What are all UDP ports to be allowed outside is called outbound. Apart from these two things, one more thing is internal. Internal. Internal means you have internal firewall, correct, right? Okay. Am I correct or not? Okay. Sometimes that firewall might be through here itself. Okay. All the, if it is the network is coming from here, but still it has to go to the perimeter and go to the other private network. Some other private network to some DMZ comes like this. Okay. Through your firewall only. Like that also someone will configure. But if you are collecting it from one internal network from here itself through internal firewall, means this logs will be having all the internal logs, means which from where one network and another network traffic passes through. Okay, that particular firewall is called as internal firewall. So internal to internal. Okay, that is internal rules. Internal That's it. Internal rules means from one network to another network. Okay, within the organization, when the traffic is passing through, they have separate rules. So inside to outside, outside to inside, and inside from one network to inside another network. These are all the three rules which you have to remember. Okay, please, next time when I ask what you have to say, instead of all these things, yes, you guys are doing great by telling like based on the port numbers only whether it will be allowed or not. But okay, the main topic here, what you have to remember, okay, it is how you are going to achieve that. It is like because of the internal rules and inbound rules and outbound rules and internal rules. Okay, what you have written. Okay, what TCP UDP ports has to be allowed, what TCP ports has to be blocked. All those things, yeah, we will be discussing. Okay, yeah, when we are going through the firewall things. But at least you have to remember. Okay. Okay. Now the firewall has everything as written, but now definitely sometimes, as I said, some people wants the DNS server to be like kept the outside or anything. Companies will allow it. Okay, so because their own interest, some people will like some mid-sized company people who are not particularly following you know the these kind of what do you say, the strict IT policies, who doesn't have, they will allow the end user to put whatever DNS they want, because sometimes I have seen myself, few of the employees in my old company, they used to change the DNS to public DNS so that they can easily open facebook.com. Okay, if it goes to the private DNS, they were not update, they were you know not serving the IP address or something like that. Or sometimes what I've seen not only that, the proxy also, like, you can change. Has anyone experienced this? Like, to get through, like, from your own proxy, the proxy settings they used to change. Anyone has experienced that? Proxy, you can change it. Okay, we'll see that. But no, because of, like, whether it owns a website, if it is blocked from your proxy, if I change the proxy, if I keep my proxy as some other proxy, like some the real world, somewhere, some like some external proxy, then what happens? Our external proxy, instead of internally for your organization itself, sales team always needs some websites, public domains. They have to, like, social media websites, they have to available for them, different proxy they might be using. So that proxy, if you get, you can give that. So like that, people can have some options to change or anything. So same way like DNS also. So sometimes what happens, if a user, okay, is sending some data through the firewall, okay, through the firewall, okay, say for example this guy, okay, he's sending some data through the firewall. Okay, the inbound rule will be checked. In inbound rule, sorry, in outbound rule will be checked. In the outbound rule, port 80 is, is to be blocked, is to be allowed, to be allowed. This they will take as an advantage, the attacker. Okay, hey, I am allowing not only the internal DNS queries, because why it will be allowed? Port 53, port 53, port 53 DNS request from internal to the external. Why? If your DNS server, correct, right, is not able to identify, okay, the IP address where it has to go now, your internal DNS server is not able to identify the IP address for that, if it is not able to resolve any IP address for that, then where it has to go, that request? Anyone?
Root server.
Correct, right? Root server it has to go. Or sometimes you might be going to your ISP server, correct, right? Okay. And
Authority.
yeah, if your ISP server is not able to serve, then it will go to the root server, correct, right? Maybe you are so much big company, that's the reason you are telling you can directly go to the root server. That is also absolutely correct. Any of these two options might be there. Okay. Now, to go outside, what port should be opened now? Port 53, correct, right? Then only it will go. Now it is opened, right, by default. Usually the companies will open it, correct, right? Port 53 has to be from internal to that outbound rule, from your internal to external, that is outbound rule. Port 53 is allowed. Okay, now the attackers are so much sophisticated that Now instead they will come to know about this. Okay, what they will do, they know that okay, port 53 is allowed to the external. Then what I'll do is I will be data whatever is collected. If I go from here like file transfer or any other thing, okay, if I go through file transfer, they are inspecting you at IDS because IDS all the traffic will be inspected, right? Correct, right? All the IDS will inspect all the traffic. So IDS will see the pattern of the traffic, okay, and they will detect it, detect the suspicious way that I'm carrying some, some tables or tables means database, some, that kind of information to the server. Firewall, next gen firewalls might also detect. Our internal firewalls, the WAF related things might also get detect. So these many security devices are there. So why I should use all such kind of techniques instead? In DNS, I have definitely have some option where I will show you guys something. Okay. UDP header. Okay. Okay. See this guys. Okay. Okay. Let me open this in the new tab. Simple UDP. Okay. This is the okay. Yeah. This is the you know the source port and this is the destination port. What it is there in complete UDP packet, what it is there means this is the source port, that is some 25,000 or 30,000 or something like that port number, and the destination port will be 53. Okay, and here there will be something called as length, means what is the length of this particular UDP, means any information is there, what is the this data is the size and what is the the size of this header length. Okay, altogether like what is a UDP length in the sense here 16 plus 16 32, 32 plus 32 I mean sorry, uh, yeah, 32 bit 64 means 4 bytes, correct, right? 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 means 8 bytes. 8 bytes is the header length. Okay, and your data might be like 5 like UDP body UDP length. Okay, okay, yeah, this one. Windows default is 9216, maximum these many bytes. Okay, let me just calculate how many MB of data it is. Okay, bytes, right, divided by 1024. Now it turned out to be kilo. Now again I will divide it by 102, sorry 1024. I'll convert it into the megabyte. Don't get confused anything. 0.06 MB of data can be carried maximum. Okay, maximum 0. Here in this 0.06 MB of data. Don't think it is a very small or anything. It is like really a very good size for any kind of transactions. Okay, because if you take this particular web page data, all these things, it is just 650 kilobytes. Okay, we are talking about 0.06 MB. Okay, just calculate yourself, so you can carry a lot of data in that. Okay, so what is doing, whatever the data is collected, instead of through FTP or through web or through any some kind of some other ways, what is doing is attacker taking that particular data and putting it in UDP packet, but it is not the DNS request or anything. He's just spoofing. He's just using this DNS body, okay, telling that this is the UDP, the port 53 related traffic, but in the body is stuffing something else. Okay, and then he's carrying this data from where? From here, okay, to the attacker machine somewhere outside. Okay, to the attacker machine somewhere outside. Here, attacker machine is there somewhere. Okay, it is not DNS server, normal system only, but this guy has something like to the external 53 is allowed. Okay, let's go. That's it. Okay, now slowly he'll be carrying the data. Okay, and he'll be putting it over here. He'll be piling up all the data here. He will pile up here all the data in this particular system. Okay, then after that he will do some mechanism to rearrange that entire data, and he will make use of it. So this is a very dangerous thing. Very, 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 very dangerous thing. Okay, this is called as DNS tunneling. This is called as DNS tunneling. DNS tunneling. Okay, got it, guys? Everyone? He's tunneling the some different data, some other applications data, some other data which he has collected, attacker has collected on this particular machine. Now he has to carry the data to his machine. Now he is internally in an organization. He will get caught. Okay, so instead of that, port 53, no one will think that, okay, it will be having some suspicious thing. So in the body of port 53, okay, that particular UDP packet, UDP datagram, what he is putting is the data, whatever is collected, thefted from this machine and stuffed it inside the body of the UDP packet. The remaining parts are headers. Like this is 16-bit header. 16-bit header. Got it, right? This is 16-bit header. Okay. Why this is, here maximum 65,535 ports here, 0 to 65,535 destination ports here. Any one value will be kept here. Okay. Here the length of the UDP, this entire detection length. If to check here one value in 16-bit we will be keeping. Say if when it is going through somewhere, if someone modifies some data in the data, if someone modifies, I'm talking about the data. Checksums means only the data. If someone modifies, okay, then it will be like, so that's why they will be like some hash or something like that they will get, and they will put it over, which is a 16-bit UDP checksum. Checksum means after it goes to the other user, they will calculate the checksum of the data and they will get, okay, some value, and that checksum has to be matched to this particular one. Okay, then they will be allowing it. Usually that is how UDP happens. But guys, instead of the the domain name request, okay, DNS request here in the body, these attackers are stuffing some data that is thefted from this machine and sending it. And this guy is not checking any data. He is just seeing that it is a port 53 to the external. I will allow it and I will allow. So they are tunneling the data. Tunneling means in a pipe. Okay, they are established with this machine. Okay, and then what they are doing, they are tunneling it to this particular system. That's what it is happening. Okay. Okay, it is here. Okay. Any doubts with the tunneling, DNS tunneling? Everybody, fast.
No doubts.
Is it clear? First, everyone. Anyone has got any doubt? I am ready to explain once again. These are
Can you
the
explain once again, sir?
Yeah. Okay. Usually DNS server is here. Correct, right? DNS server is somewhere within the organization. Okay. But what happens is, if there is a latest website which you have developed, okay, it's like your friend or someone has developed, or your company might have developed, or latest one more customer or vendor has come to you, he will be somewhere in the internet. Usually for if any DNS request, where it will go, the DNS request, it will go to your internal DNS server. Usually it will be here somewhere. Example, just take it. Okay, if you first time, like, okay, remove this, put it over here. Okay, just give it over here. Okay, yeah, give me a second, guys. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so this should be some internal DNS server. This one is internal DNS server. Okay, yeah, from here to here. Okay, if you have any DNS request, where you will go from here and reach to this machine and get the IP address of that particular, website, whatever you are looking for, and then you will send uh, the web page get request or post request to that particular that particular server directly. Okay, now consider if your DNS server, whatever it is there, okay, like, if something, if it is not the website what you have not what you asked, if it is not present in its DNS table, okay, what it will do, it will go and ask to the operator DNS server or the root server. Till here, is it clear? Like DNS concept, is it clear? Whatever earlier class I have explained, is it clear what is the DNS server?
Yes, sir.
What? Okay, till there no problem, right? Okay, that is what it happens regularly. Okay, now DNS server is what it is doing is, it is looking at the, okay, outbound rule. Okay, if it is 53, definitely some customer wants to reach, since he has not got the IP address from our internal server, he might be reaching it to the external. So I blindly see that port 53 and I'll allow this traffic outside. Okay, and many of the companies, they don't see what is there in the body. They will see port number is 53. Okay, that is destination, means DNS. What data they will carry? Definitely some website request they might be doing. Just allow them. They are not carrying any data, right? They are carrying some request. Let them, it will go. Okay, so that is the thing, right? So now attackers have taken advantage of that. What they have done is, they're creating a DNS packet here, okay, in a way that, okay, they will keep this one. They will keep the source port and destination port, that is port, whatever it is. This is actually DNS how it looks. Okay, whatever you send, www dot facebook.com's web page you want, means here only it will be there, and here source port, here destination port. If you want more clearly, UDP, sorry, Wireshark, right? Wireshark, let it be open. Okay, so the source port and the destination port, they will be keeping it here. Okay, and they will be having some kind of, length of the header and the checksum and the body, whatever the request you are doing is here. Here, instead of like, asking for the domain name, DNS request for a website, you will be using this particular body part for the sake of, what purpose, like some data which you stole on this machine. You have stolen some data. That data will be kept inside that body. Okay, now no one will actually detect. They will think this is DNS data, nothing to inspect. Okay, let's go. Just they will send it. Provided if it is this one an attacker machine, directly arms it will come here. Okay, this guy knows my system which got compromised. I know that I have only returned the data, right? If I am receiving some data at port 53 means definitely it is started working. Now I have to collect the data and just I have to join it. Okay, some different way, whatever way they want to join, let them join. But like slowly it will be sending data. Okay, slowly. So now what it is happening? It is tunneling the data using the DNS. Okay, from a compromised machine to the attacker machine. Is it clear now? Whoever is asked.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I will tell what are the problems we have here. Okay, guys. If we do what things we could have actually detected this issue. Few things if we'd have done. Definitely the tunneling we would have actually detected. Just open up your mind. Just think from a analyst perspective. Just try. I don't require 100% this thing. Okay, I'll explain. Now you tell me there are the problems here. I'll let you know. Okay, who should be sending the DNS request first of all anywhere in an organization? If it is going outside, who should be sending the DNS request to the external world? Only DNS server should send. I will go and ask this particular DNS server if he is not able to get the IP address for that DNS request, whatever I made, then this system should send a request to this particular any external, not this, any external DNS. So first of all, the problem here is okay, should not allow end user request, end user to send DNS request to external IPs. Simple, guys. IPs. Okay. Simple. Okay. If the source IP address, you know what is your DNS. Okay. You know what is your DNS IP. If okay, I'm just giving if DNS server, I'm just giving, we don't write like that, simple way we will write it there. If DNS server is not equal to okay, whatever your IP address, okay, DNS IP. Okay, no. Okay, if source IP, SRC IP, source IP address is not your DNS IP, whatever in the firewall logs. Okay, IP. Okay, port number is equal to 53. If port number destination DEST destination port number is equal to 53, correct, right? Here destination is port is 53. Okay, and direction of the traffic is equal to outbound, means from internally it is going outside. Okay, is means something suspicious, means send alert. You can create an alert. This much only, you need not to do anything. If the source IP is not equal to your DNS server, means someone is sending the DNS all the time, the DNS request to the external world has to go through the DNS server only. Not an individual should send any DNS request. First thing is first. And the destination port is equal to 53 here. Okay, that port is 53. And the direction of the traffic is from internal to the external. That means 100% he's an attacker. If it is not, The DNS server means normal IP, and the port is 53. Destination port where it is going is 53. Okay, and the direction of the traffic is from internal to the external is okay. Then please alert me. Even one event is there, please alert me. That looks to be something suspicious. This is like in one way you can detect it. Got it right? Okay. And one more thing, you have to make sure your IDS, IPS IDS, okay, should have some kind of, the data, inspection mechanism for DNS as well. Usually they will disable the signatures. We should recommend them to use for DNS also. The packet inspection, traffic inspection mechanism should be enabled. Okay, this is how. Is it anything, no, this is easiest way you can detect any tunneling that is happening. Okay, and also you should also do something like, now somehow after a week or something, this attacker sent some file or anything, he has clicked on that something like before, like this is a fresh attack, something on this machine, forget about never been attacked or anything, and after a week this guy has clicked. By that time this server has been like lost, the server has been some lost. Okay, so he's sending DNS request, okay, to the external server. Okay, so when he's trying to send this DNS request, some external DNS server, which is, it got configured over there. Okay, but in between what happened, this DNS server within that week, something, some ISP has blocked because it is doing some unnecessary things and all. So something, that IP is gone now, it is not there. Okay, the DNS server. So the DNS request, this DNS server is nowhere present when it went and tried to connect directly or indirectly or anything. It is not there, right? Okay, so you will be getting, okay, some kind of, lot of DNS query messages. Okay, whether it is successful or unsuccessfully, if it reaches that particular DNS server, lot of DNS query messages from a single machine constantly over the period of time. Example. Okay, guys, you tell me one thing. Okay, if this is the the graph. Okay, usually you will have the every regularly DNS request like this. Okay, like this, it will come and it will, by evening it will be down, and again night and all it will be low, and morning again it will be like this, and again it will be down for the next day. Okay, like this is the entire down is the night times. This is the business hours, whatever it is here on top. Okay, but I will show one more graph. Okay, yeah, this is the office related, but usually a specific machine, okay, is actually sending the DNS request like this. Never happens. A specific machine I'm talking about, a end machine, because usually what happens, it should be looking like this. Maybe you got a new, DNS request. Sorry, guys. Like from a machine, usually like for 1 minute, you will be DNS request you will send. After that, you'll be just working on your laptop. Just you'll be browsing, but there might not be any DNS request to the server, DNS server. So maybe for half day or something, then after that 1 or 2 requests like this, it should be. But you are sending from a machine continuously DNS request to a DNS server. From end machine, the DNS server traffic can be like this, but end machine sending the DNS request continuously. Okay, if it is like continuously, no one will be saying. Is it like every 1 second I'll be browsing here? I mean, browsing this new website I'll be requesting. No, as an end user, if it is an organic traffic, no. But here what is happening is to the port 53, every 3 seconds, some amount of data is coming as a request and going out. Every 2 minutes, every 1 or 2 minutes, there is like, some specific amount of data is coming as DNS request and going out. From one system only, it is happening consistently. So that means like this kind of data from as individual system should not be there. For DNS server, yes, it is. In office and an average, say for example, minimum 50 people will be asking for DNS request during the daytime and 10 to 20 requests during the night time, like that. But is it possible for a individual user, okay, from his machine sending the DNS request continuously for over the period of, like from past 2 days? That means suspicious, means someone is trying to abuse the DNS and doing something malicious activities using the DNS. So that is the reason you have to be aware of such kind of attacks. So what you have to do, okay, just write it in a way that, okay, for this particular thing, a lot of DNS queries, from like, uh, you know, uh, how you can do it is like 1 hour, or you can take it as like 4 hours. 4 hours, okay. Okay, say for example, 500 DNS requests, okay. This DNS request, okay, 4 hours, okay. DNS request is greater than 500, okay. Okay, from, okay, unique IP address, from one unique specific IP address only, okay. If 500 requests are unique, means you need not to mention unique or something like that. I will let you know how to, like, only one system only sending 500, that list only provide, okay. If one single system 500 IP addresses, 500 DNS requests they are sending in within 4 hours, okay, then alert that particular thing, okay. Now this is how the attackers does these kind of activities, okay. So this is the thing with respect to the DNS tunneling, okay.